I'm a little more worried about this next matchup though, just because of how each of these teams looked in their previous game in the quarterfinals. We have Texas and Ohio State facing off in the Cotton Bowl. Obviously, Texas coming off of a double overtime victory against Arizona State in the Peach Bowl, and then Ohio State coming off bludgeoning Oregon in the Rose Bowl in the quarterfinals. So one team here I think has the obvious momentum, being Ohio State. Ohio State is currently a 5.5-point favorite in this game, and I think that's pretty accurate. Just looking at the results of their previous games, we were talking about it earlier in this video, but I've really yet to be super impressed by a Texas win. Obviously they beat Arizona State. Not to discount Arizona State, but I feel like the kind of general opinion of them was they were one of the weaker teams in the playoff, even though they did secure that first round bye. A lot of people thought they were outmatched against Texas. And Texas just came out and both the early lead let them come back. But I don't know. My gut feeling off the rip is I like Ohio State here. If they play how they played against Oregon, I think they win the national championship with not too many problems. But I want to know what y'all think.
I think I'm in the same boat. Honestly, I think the come to Jesus that Ohio State had to have, the tough, conversations they had to have internally before the playoff, you can tell it's paying off. It started with, them beating the brakes off of Tennessee at home, and then, going to the Rose Bowl and doing the same thing to Oregon, who was the consensus number one team heading into the playoff. So they're finding their stride, and they're finding it at the right time. Jeremiah Smith, absolute stud. Emeka Egbuka, also a stud. I could just, there's like a list that long of just dudes all over this roster for Ohio State, and they're the hottest team in college football right now. There's no debating that. And Texas, I think, you alluded to it, they did not look the best against Arizona State. I think I don't part of me places that on Quinn Ewers, part of me doesn't. I think the play calling was kind of lackluster, especially in the late game stages of that Arizona State game. Hopefully, what do you mean? What are you laughing for?
I'm just glad I'm not the only one who gets stumbles over my words and my brain's moving faster than my mouth. Yeah,
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm sorry.
They found a way to win when it mattered, and they're here. So, yeah, I think I'm with you. I like Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, I think the last time that I remember off the top of my head, Texas actually meeting expectations when it comes to beating a team was against Florida. And I'm pretty sure Florida was down to their third string quarterback and their fourth string secondary.
Correct.
And then before that, it was literally Michigan. That was 4 months ago.
That and Oklahoma, I think they look decent.
That's true. Yeah, sorry.
But outside of that,
outside of those three games, Texas, I feel like has fallen short of expectations time and time again. I mean, they're Arizona State and Texas A&M are by far their best wins of the season. They're two games where they have played against quote unquote comparable opponents, competitive opponents. Would be the two times they played Georgia. Now, to be fair, the second time they played Georgia, it did have to go into overtime, so I will give them credit there. But like we have seen and like we have already said in other videos, please go check that out if you want to see us all cry. That Georgia team had flaws and was nowhere near the Georgia teams from a couple of years ago. So if that Georgia team can take care of you twice, something is wrong with you. So I don't know.
That's a good point.
I have a hard time. Like, I'm saying a lot of words, but at the end of the day, it's going to be Ohio State. That's who my pick's going to be. I think, based on what we've seen their past two outings, I would be, I'd probably be tested for drugs if I said anything else. Just because Ohio State has had the toughest route to this point, and I'm pretty sure they've also had the largest average margin of victory to this point. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I think the only route that could have been more difficult would be if Tennessee was still in the playoff. That would have been on the road in Columbus and practically on the road in the Rose Bowl against Oregon. And yeah, that obviously didn't happen because Ohio State beat the living crap out of them. So I don't really feel like there's much more to say on this one. But yeah, long story short, Texas's last national championship was in 2005, where Mac Brown and Vince Young took on Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, and Pete Carroll over at USC in the aforementioned Rose Bowl on a random Wednesday in January. And then, yes, I think we all remember Ohio State's last natty. Listen, you change the playoff format, Ohio State's going to make a run. That's just that's what
That's a
we've
good point.
seen. That's a trend. 2014, they were down to their third string quarterback because Braxton Miller got injured in fall camp. JT Barrett got injured in the second half against Michigan. And then Cardell Jones, just a scrawny kid, stepped in and hung 59 on Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game.
Not even my favorite Cardell Jones story.
And then a guy by the name of Ezekiel Elliott had like 180 rushing yards against Alabama in the Sugar Bowl, and then the national championship. It really wasn't a game against Oregon.
Yeah.
So
did y'all hear the story of Cardell Jones playing the kid in Madden?
Yes,
Like,
at the children's hospital, man. This kid's on his deathbed.
Oh,
you can't
to nothing or something like
that. Yeah,
do that to a Make-A-Wish kid, man. That's cruel.
If he can do it
9 years ago, here we go. He tweeted like the headline: Cardell Jones visits kid in hospital, play video games, beats him 91-35 at NCAA football. He tweeted that and said, "Man, I wish everyone stopped saying I beat a kid in the hospital 91-35. It was 98-35, had 91 with 1:26 left in the fourth."
So this man was up 91. This man was up 91-35 with 1:26 left in the game. It was still airing that bitch out. He said, "No, I need an onside kick at the ball back, hang triple digits on this kid." That's hilarious. I mean, hate it for the kid, but like, I don't know.
To have that moxie though.
You definitely do. Like, if you're that kid, like you grow up, right, and you're like, listen. You know that guy that Cardell Jones beat the living shit out of in Madden a couple of years ago? That was me. I put up 35, you know?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a lifelong memory. And I think, I don't know, I think sometimes you want your quarterback to be a little bit of an asshole. So he was a competitor, all right? That's what he was.
Yeah. No days off.
Yeah. But anyways, long story short, I think we all like Ohio State here. If that wasn't perfectly crystal clear, I don't think I'd take anybody against Ohio State right now. Anybody remaining in the playoff, I wouldn't take them.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Like, we're not putting Ohio State up there with like, you know, the Joe Burrow LSU's.
No. That's not what I'm saying. That could be a different conversation on where they rank as national champions. Because I think they'd be stronger than Michigan last year.
Yeah. But they weren't stronger than Michigan this year.
How many people how people in our comment section feel about Michigan's team last year? I think they were one of the weakest in the history of the playoff format. But there have been some very strong national champions. This 2-loss Ohio State team would, Michigan fans would probably try to dox me for saying that. So we'll see if we have any Michigan viewers watching.
They'd probably
we'll
just
see if Ohio State
like,
can actually make that a reality and win a national championship with 2 losses. They very well could with how they're playing. So,
Yeah. I mean, hopefully the Michigan faithful, all they have to say is 4-0 and just leave it at that.
I mean, they have that. I mean, they planted their flag and got pepper sprayed and beat them.
Michigan
Hey, I
would
mean, if
probably hang the banner if Ohio State did win the title this year. They would probably hang their own banner.
Beat
the
national champion.
Ohio State calls Michigan that team up north.
Mhm.
What does Michigan call Ohio State?
I don't think they do like down south, or I don't think they have. I don't know. That's a good question.
Them bitches in red.
Seems a bit one sided because I know. Well, they cross out. Is it which school crosses out the? Is that
Ohio
the
State crosses out the M's.
M's? Okay.
Yeah.
So what does Michigan do? It seems a little one sided.
Whoop that ass. I mean,
yeah. It looks like it.
What'd you say?
He said, "Kill them with kindness."
Kill him with kindness. Captain Khaki Pants. He's actually doing pretty well in the NFL.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, we're rambling. Brandon, please.
We are rambling. Let's. I'll take us home here. So, but yeah, if you made it to this point in the video, we very much appreciate you watching. Whether this is probably going to be on the end of the preview, or if you watch the whole thing. We appreciate you, however you watched it, no matter how you got here. Shout out to anybody that's coming from short form that has been very strong lately. Lately, we've been on a pretty good run on that. So the engagement on short form and long form really keeps us motivated and engaged to keep making content for you all. Feel free to let us know anything you want to see at any point in time. Kind of trying to community build a little bit here. Getting close to our goal of 750 on YouTube. Our short-term goal as of right now, and then beyond that is 1,000. But that's the next milestone. So, if you're here and you're become part of the community, we're still 6 away. So we appreciate anybody that's been around. If this is your first time, if you're coming back, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.